Hey, welcome back, everybody. On today's video or webinar, we're going to continue some Texas state questions and answers. So stay tuned to learn more about Texas questions that you can expect on the real estate exam for Texas. And if you're from another state, these do not apply to you. This applies only to Texas real estate realtors, however, or students. However, it could help you in how questions are asked. Okay, so this is the book that I'm using. And those of you who have been there before, it's the Texas Real Estate Sales Exam, the 4th edition. All right. And I love this book, and so do a lot of students, because of the table of contents, which it has 4 exams, 1, 2, 3, 4. Today we're on exam 2, question number 89. And it's got a refresher course, math review, lots of vocabulary from A to Z, and a little bit of how to prepare for your test. Okay, so awesome book. This is in our Facebook group that you can download and study on your own. It's 287 pages. Okay, so today we're starting with question 89. So this is Wow Lillie Handy with AgentPrep, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. This is being streamed onto YouTube and our Facebook group and our business page for AgentPrep. So I ask you to, I welcome you to participate. Type down the question number and the answer when you do answer. And at any time, type in the chat and ask me any questions, either on Facebook or on YouTube. Okay, and once you give Facebook permission to post your name on StreamYard, you're going to see something like this. You'll see your name here instead of just a blank. Okay, so I'm gonna get on the Facebook group so that I can see you all when you are commenting. So I'm gonna hold on here, and also on YouTube, and cut out the sound. Okay, there we go. All right, so question 89. When an agent does not fulfill the fiduciary duties and perform as promised, how may the client end the relationship? So when an agent does not fulfill our fiduciary duties and perform as promised, how may the client end the relationship? So this is a client that we have an agreement signed, either a listing agreement or a contract. Okay, so A, reliction by verbal notification. B, unilateral by rescission in writing. C, listing with another broker. Or D, notifying the local multiple listing service. So I'll give you a moment to answer the question. Remember to write down the question number and the answer. Okay. So think about it. So what can a seller or a buyer do when they're not satisfied with our duties? Okay. Anybody taking a chance on here? Okay, the answer here is B, a unilateral rescission in writing. Unilateral means one-sided, right? It's one way, because only the client is going to end the relationship. So it must be done in writing. So 89B. Okay, number 90. Okay, this is a long one. I'll have to minimize my Zoom so that I can get it all on one page. Okay, there we go. All right, number 90. Samuel is under contract with a buyer for the sale of their home or his home. He has agreed to give the buyer a 10-day termination option as described in paragraph 23 of the Texas Real Estate Commission contract. This has changed as we do have a new agreement, a new contract. So I am going to highlight this page, being that it is outdated. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get a highlighter. Yep. All right. So the termination option period is now on page number 1. Okay. And that's where the buyer requests a certain number of days, okay, to do inspections. So the Samuel has paid a $350 option fee, and the buyer has deposited $2,500 as earnest money with an escrow agent, and that can be an attorney or at the title company. If the buyer delivers a notice of termination to Samuel on the 10th day, Samuel is the seller, Samuel is obligated to do what? Okay, so the seller gave them 10-day termination option. Our option periods end at 5 o'clock today. At 5 o'clock on the last day. So if that buyer wants to terminate, what do they have to do? Through the agent, of course. A, release the $2,800 to the buyer and keep the $50 non-refundable part of the option fee. B, release one half of the earnest money to the buyer and retain the other one half plus the option fee. C, release all the earnest money to the buyer and retain the entire option fee. Or D, release all the earnest money and option fee to the buyer because the buyer terminated within the contractual prescribed time frame. So once you know the option fee explanation, okay, vocabulary, that's why I stress how important it is, you would know how to answer this question. So what happens to the option fee? What happens to the earnest money? So go ahead and type your answer. I'll give you a moment. So what happens to the option fee and the earnest money when that buyer decides to terminate the contract? Anybody? Merlin, quit. Come on. That's my kitty cat growling to another cat that's visiting. Okay, the answer is, oops, not 93. C, release all the earnest money to the buyer and retain the entire option fee. So as long as the buyer terminated within the 5 o'clock deadline, gave the buyer agent sufficient time to inform the listing agent so that the listing agent informs the seller. It all has to happen before 5 p.m. Seller has to know before 5 p.m. or exactly at 5 p.m. A second past 5, it's already considered late, and their earnest money is in jeopardy. The seller keeps the option fee, okay, and returns the earnest money to the buyer. So the answer is 90C. I forgot to give you the answer for. Hi, Ruth. Thank you for joining us today. And 89 is B. Appreciate your participation. So we've got Ruth Scarrett Santana. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Scarrett or Scarrett. All right. Okay, 91. That's a long one, huh? Okay, I can increase my zoom. Let's see, to 200. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, 91. Newlyweds Jack and Jane have just acquired a farm of several hundred acres, 10 miles from the city, and established it as their homestead. So definition, what is a homestead? And yeah, newlyweds, you know what that is, okay? But it's acres, 100 acres, several hundred acres, 10 miles from the city. How much of the farm is protected from seizure as forced sale under the Texas Constitutional Homestead Protection? So there's a certain number of acres when individuals buy large acreage. So a certain number of them will have a reduction in the tax rate for a homestead. It doesn't go if they buy 500 or more, 1,000 acres. That homestead doesn't apply to all of them, right? And that's for the homestead is for reducing your taxes. So Jack and Jane, they're married, acquired farm, several acres, 100 acres, 10 miles from the city, and established it as their homestead. So how much of the farm is protected? So how many acres are protected? A, 100 acres maximum. B, 200 acres maximum. C, the entire farm. Or D, 10 acres, including the land upon which the house sits. So how many acres is it for the homestead law? Remember, we're only allowed one property as a homestead. And it can be a farm, a ranch, a certain number of acres when there's a single person, and a certain number of acres when there is a married couple. So go ahead and type in your answer. Come on, this is the time to do it. Should you get it right, I'll congratulate you. Should you get it wrong, I'll correct it for you and explain why the answer is incorrect. Okay? Going once, going twice. Time to type it in. Gone. The answer is 91B, 200 acres. So if they had more than 200 acres, only 200 acres is going to apply for a tax deduction or a tax reduction as a homestead. Okay. 91B. Okay, number 92. All right, 92. Who or what requires a person to hold a license issued by the Texas Real Estate Commission prior to performing acts of brokerage such as selling, leasing, or locating real property for sale or lease? Because we do also help clients with rentals. Okay. A, Texas Real Estate Commission. B, the governor of Texas. C, the Texas legislature. Or D, the Texas statute of frauds. So don't think that because I emphasize that's the answer. Okay. I was just emphasizing it because it was D. All right. So go ahead and type your answer. I'll give you a moment for that. Remember, we're in Texas. And so it says Texas is the commission that gives us our license, right? when we meet all the requirements and we pass the exams. But who requires a person to hold a license issued by TREC, acronym for Texas Real Estate Commission? Okay, who's taking a risk here? Who's taking a chance? Nobody wants to take a risk. All right, 92 is C, the Texas legislature. Okay, because the Texas legislature has the state laws, how to practice real estate in the state of Texas, and allows Texas Real Estate Commission to issue the license to us that pass our exams after doing all the 180 hours and then taking our background check by taking our fingerprints. Okay, so 92C. All right, number 93. Okay, Sarah, oops. All right, Sarah salesperson has a signed buyer representation agreement. We refer to it as a assigned buyer's rep, okay? To represent Bernie and Bonnie buyer. She shows them a home listed by Lisa List-A-Lot, who tells Sarah that the sellers are desperate and that she is sure that she can get them to accept $10,000 less than the asking price. What should Sarah do? Wow. Lisa List-A-Lot. A, call the sellers and tell them what Lisa said. B, suggest that the buyers make a lowball offer. C, keep the information to herself. Or D, share the information with Bernie and Bonnie. So remember, who do we represent? Right? Sarah salesperson has a signed buyer's rep agreement to represent Bernie and Bonnie, right? That's who she's representing. So what should Sarah do when the listing agent says, hey, my seller is willing to accept $10,000 less than the asking price? What do you think about what that listing agent did? Come on, participate, okay? It'll help you. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. It's okay if you answer it wrong, okay? You're not failing if you answer it wrong, okay? It just means you need to study a little bit more. Okay, I'm looking on Facebook, on YouTube to see if somebody's answering. No? All right. The answer is D. The buyer agent should share the information with Bernie and Bonnie because the listing agent shared it with her. So it's her fiduciary duty to share anything that she learns about the property with her buyer. What Lisa did is against our fiduciary duties. She's not representing her seller as best as possible. Her job is to get the highest and best price for the seller. Our job is to get the lowest and best price for our buyer. Okay, so hey, Sarah should inform the buyers, Bernie and Lisa, and Bonnie, that hey, you can offer $10,000 less according to what the listing realtor said. So the answer is 93D. All right, 94, moving right along. Okay, your seller says that he doesn't want to accept any offers from buyers who are represented by a buyer's agent. Wow, it's listed. So who does he expect, or who does he or she expect is going to bring an offer? As the listing agent, what should you do when a buyer's agent brings an offer on the listing on behalf of their client? A, present it to the seller. B, send it back to the buyer's agent. C, throw it away. Funny, why? Or D, file it and forget about it. So, a seller hired a broker and their associate realtor to represent them, right? And it's to bring all offers, to bring any ready, willing, and able buyer from agents, from other buyers, right? They're all already paying the commission. So the commission for the listing realtor, part of that is shared with the buying realtor. So what does the listing agent have to do? A, present it to the seller. B, send it back to the buyer's agent. C, throw it away or file it and forget about it. What's our responsibility? When in doubt, eliminate two that you know are totally wrong, and then pick one. Okay, so I've got Tiffany says A. Anybody else? Thank you, Tiffany, for cooperating and participating, I should say. And that is correct, Tiffany. A, present it to the seller. Okay, that is our duty. That's what they hired us to do. If we're not going to present any buyer agents offers, boy, we're not going to get much offers, right? Even though we do get buyers that, yay, that drive by and see signs, they see it online and they can call us directly. So that's kind of what he was saying. I want you to bring the offer, not from another buyer agent. But no, legally, we have to present every offer that we get, whether the seller wants it or not. Okay, so the answer was 94A. Very good. All right, 95. Oh, that's a short one. I like short ones. Not so much reading. You can go through these really fast on the exam, and that's what you should always do. Go through the easy, quick questions that you can answer first. Any question that you're not familiar with, or you have no idea on the answer, check it for review and come back to it later. A future question might help you answer that. Okay, 95. When a client tells an agent to do something illegal, what should the agent do? Whoa. A, obey without question. B, sue the principal. C, I'm sorry, but some of these questions and answers, boy, they get to me. C, terminate the agency relationship, or D, ignore the order. So what should that agent do when a client is telling us to do something illegal? Yeah, a lot of people are so happy today, right? Yeah, you're right. No kidding, man. And some of these realtors that, sometimes I'm surprised, at what they want to do. Thank you for that. Oh, shoot. I already entered the answer. Yes, you're right. 95C. I knew you were kidding. That's cool, Tiffany. I like your humor. That's how you'll need to be when you become a realtor, because you're going to deal with so many different personalities. You're almost like a counselor, an advisor, a shoulder to cry on sometimes. So be prepared for all types of buyers and sellers. All right, let me show the answer. Oh, guys, this is what Tiffany said. She said, I'm going to sue. However, she was just kidding, right? Because the answer is C. Oh, let me scroll back up, right? The answer was terminate the agency relationship, okay? Never get involved in anything illegal. You've worked so hard to get your license, and this is how we earn money. This is your livelihood. So no. I don't care who it is. Family, friends, relatives, no. Okay? Strangers, no. Always do things legally. All right, number 96. It is unlawful for an undivided. It is unlawful for an individual licensed as a real estate salesperson to do what? A, sell timeshares. B, act as an apartment locator. C, act as a broker in a commercial transaction. Or D, represent a buyer in the name of his or her sponsoring broker. So what can a real estate salesperson, right? An agent, not a broker. What can a real estate salesperson do? What is unlawful for an individual real estate salesperson to do? So they can do 3 of these things except for one of them. And I'm looking on multiple screens because I'm typing on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, Tiffany says C. Anybody else? There's several of you on here. Just a reminder, Tiffany, to add the question number when you're answering the question, just so that whoever's watching the replay on YouTube or on the Facebook group, they'll know which question we're referring to in case they don't see the answer I typed. So yes, you're correct. C, act as a broker in a commercial transaction. So a real estate salesperson, okay, a salesperson, they've not practiced real estate for at least 4 years or have not taken an exam to become a broker. They cannot act as a broker in a commercial transaction or any kind of transaction, okay? Hi, Rocker. Welcome to the group, or welcome on YouTube to our prep on Texas law, Texas questions and answers. Yes, so 96C. Both of you are correct. Awesome. All right, number 97. Oh, let me show the answer. It was 96C. Can you tell I like red? You know, red and black are 2 of my favorite colors. I have other ones, but those are my primaries. Okay, 97. Which of the following is not a loan fee as identified in paragraph 12 of the Texas Real Estate Commission promulgated contract and the third-party financing condition addendum? So A, a buy-down fee. B, a loan funding fee. C, a loan origination fee. Or D, a loan commitment. I gave you a little hint. So the loan funding fee is defined terms in the contracts and includes only origination, discount, buy down, and commitment fees. So commitment fees, origination, funding fee. So a funding fee is only included by VA, not by the loan. So buy down, origination, commitment, those are okay. What's not included is the loan funding fee. Only VA, okay, as I showed you, allows a funding fee, right? Because the VA loan, they're paying 100% of it. Rocker, no, it's not A. Okay, the correct answer is 97B. Okay, so the answer was 97B. You got that? That one is pretty much just, memorize that one. So a lender can include buy down fees, that is to reduce the interest rate to a lower interest rate so that the buyer has a lower monthly payment, origination fees, and a commitment fee, but not the loan funding fee. Okay. All right, number 98. Okay, this is a long one, so let me resize the screen. No, gotta make it smaller. Dang, 200 didn't do it. Okay. Let's see. All right, that one will work. Okay, number 98. Did you get that, Rocker? Okay, 98. Anthony, a salesperson and independent contractor, recently left his broker at Country Realty and joined Citywide Realty. Wow, went from the country to the city. He left Country Realty before the closing of a sale he made while he was with that broker. Which of the following is true? Okay, so here's the salesperson, right? We're an independent contractor, was with Country Realty, got a contract, right? And it's in the closing process and moved to Citywide Realty. So which of the following statements is true? What happens to his commission? A, Anthony must forfeit the commission on the sale he made when he was with the old broker. Really? We did all our work. B, Anthony is entitled to his commission to be paid by him by Country Realty broker, even though he has another broker. C, the Country Realty broker will pay the Citywide Realty broker who will split with Anthony. Or D, the seller will pay the Citywide Realty broker who will split with Anthony. So who does the listing or the contract belong to? The original broker, right? So what happens to his commission? Which one is true? Tiffany, you need to know the contracts pretty well. Yes, there's a lot of questions on contracts on the state exam. The addendums, you need to know certain addendums, okay, like the seller financing addendum, third-party financing addendum, a seller lease addendum. So the seller wants to lease the property for up to 90 days after they close, or a buyer lease addendum. Okay, those right there, HOA addendums. Those are some of the main ones. Now, there is an addendum called the lead-based paint, but that is not a TREC, promulgated contract. That is a federal addendum. They'll ask about that. Okay. Rocker and Tiffany says A, he is out of a commission. What? Really? Heck no. No, no, no. Try again. No, they don't lose your commission. You can move, the contract stays with the broker and you still earn that. Okay, so if I go through all the explanation, I'll give you the answer. So take a second try, second attempt, okay? But no, we do not forfeit the commission because it has been earned. Doesn't matter which broker we're with, it's been earned. I basically gave you the answer. Yes, Tiffany, the answer is B, 98B. So Anthony is entitled to his commission to be paid to him by Country Realty because that's where the contract is, even though he is now with another broker. Okay, your commission is still owed. And if a broker tries to keep it, now you go to track. Did I show the answer for 97? Okay, 97 was B. 98 is also B. Okay, we have about 4 more minutes. So let's see if we can get up to 100. Okay, do y'all got, isn't that good news, you all? Right? Rucker and Tiffany and one other person. It's only fair. You got it, man. It is extremely fair because you did the work, or that realtor did the work, right? And we still get paid. We can move from one agency to another, even though we have listings with the current broker or we have contracts. If another broker is a better fit for you, less expenses, and you get rewarded more, definitely move. You will still collect on what you have. The majority of brokers will also allow you to take the listings with you because you earned the listings yourself, unless they said, well, if we give you the lead, we keep the listing. So no. So the listing can go with you if there isn't a contract on it. Okay. All right. Number 99. An earnest money check has been returned to the title company by the prospective buyer's bank marked NSF, not sufficient funds. What should the listing agent do? A, inform the seller. B, redeposit the check. C, contact the buyer for an explanation. Or D, tell the title company to run it through again. So think about it when you have a checking account. What happens if you rerun it multiple times? You're going to get recharged multiple times for that same check, right? And sometimes the bank won't accept it. So earnest money is returned, no sufficient funds. What does the listing agent do? Inform the seller. B, redeposit the check. Well, doesn't have to be redeposited because it's already with the title company. But in the old days, sometimes it came back to the broker. Today, the money is kept typically with the title company, with their escrow officer, or an attorney who is also an escrow officer. Okay, come on. Give me an answer. Type in your answer. Y'all are doing awesome. And I'm glad you're here, even though it's Christmas holidays, right? I'm also going to be doing this on Saturday, even though it's Christmas Day, because I do, unless I pre-record it and post it. But that's my commitment, to do 2 lives or 2 videos a week, Wednesday evening and Saturday morning. Nobody's taking a risk. Okay, the answer is A, inform the seller. Right? Because the seller, no, you don't need an explanation from the buyer because the buyer is represented by their agent. So we do not talk to the buyer. Okay? We talk to the seller. That's who we represent. That's who our fiduciary duty is with. And so the seller could terminate that agreement. Okay, that contract, because the buyer did not perform. Or give the buyer an opportunity to wire the money in or take a cashier's check. Okay, so a lot of times they're now requesting cashier's check, but for earnest money, personal checks are allowed and they can now be wired. All this because of COVID and, doing a lot of things online like we are. Money can be wired to the title companies. There are apps that make it really easy. In that case, there won't be no sufficient funds. But prior to, yes. So the answer is 99A, inform the seller. And then the seller can decide what they're going to do. Give the buyer a second chance and request a cashier's check or terminate. Okay? All right, last question of the evening. Put your best thinking cap on. All right, 100. A Texas deed. Oops, let me remove that. Maybe I can go even a little bit larger. Ooh, shoot, I put 2,500. All right, it all fits in one page on one page. Okay, a Texas deed lists both the wife and the husband as owners of the property in which they have taken up residence. So that's the warranty deed, right? Guaranteed warranty deed or special warranty deed, where it names both the husband and the wife as tenants by the entirety. That's in other states. In Texas, it'll be tenants in, community property, because we're a community property state. So if both their names are on the deed, it is presumed what? A, that the property is community property with each of them owning a half undivided interest. B, that the property is owned by both of them as tenants by the entireties with rights of survivorship. I kind of gave you the answer. C, as dower property, or D, as courtesy property. Okay, Tiffany says A. Okay, how about Rocker? Did I type the answer yet? Oh, Rocker, is your answer for 99 or for 100? If you could type your question number, that way we all know which question you're responding to. Because sometimes people respond a little bit, students respond a little late on other questions before I type the answer. So 100. Okay, very good. So yes, both of you are correct. It is 108. In the state of Texas, the property is community property with each of them owning a half undivided interest. Okay, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for participating. It's awesome that both of you, got into it and took a chance, whether it was right or wrong. This is where we learn. Woohoo! That's right. Okay. So when do you take your exam, Rocker? And how about you, Tiffany? Oh, thank you so much, Tiffany. I greatly appreciate it. I will have an awesome Christmas. I've got to wrap gifts, okay, that I bought. I've got a natural Christmas tree. I got a real one this year. So thank you very much for their wishes. And have not scheduled yet. Don't feel ready. Okay, tell you one thing, Tiffany. We will never be totally ready. We're going to be fearful. That is normal. You've got to push through the fear, study a lot of vocabulary, watch a lot of my other videos on vocabulary. Even though there don't seem to be a lot of people watching vocabulary, there are other instructors, okay, like Prep Agent with Joe Juder. He does a lot of vocabulary. He's been doing it longer than I have on YouTube. I've only done it for 1 year on YouTube and about 8 years on Facebook and in person in an office. Okay. So don't be afraid. Okay. Go ahead and, study for it. And it's best to go and take it and find out, what, hey, you just might pass. Or if not, you're going to find out where your weaknesses are. Okay. And then you continue to study vocabulary, lots of questions and answers. And this book, okay, is in our Facebook group. So let me show you. Let me show you on our Facebook group where it's at so that you can go back and download it. Let's see here. Won't let me click. Okay, so this is our Facebook group. If you're on YouTube, you need to request to join the Facebook group. Remember to answer all the questions because that's when I allow and approve you. So here on the AgentPrep Real Estate group, it is a private group. We have over 800 members. Under guides, I uploaded a lot of documents. Okay, so here's to learn a little bit about EXP because I am with EXP Realty, and that's when you start looking for sponsors. So there's a lot of vocabulary documents. And then this is the book that we're on today. It's an old book from 2006, but let me tell you, it is awesome. A few outdated Texas state questions, but very few. It is an awesome book recommended by several students to me years ago. And I keep using it over and over, even though I have bought several other books. And I have found this one to be the best because it explains the answers. Let me show you that too. So you click on this link and you'll have to click it again to download it. Okay, so let me show you also how it shows the answers. So this book explains the answers in detail. See that? So it is, oh, wait a minute. I don't know if you're seeing it. So it explains the answers in detail, and that's what you want. So let's say you're cramming, you're studying at the end, and you don't have time to go review the books or the summary. You can go into the answers of this book, okay, and understand why they selected, why that is the correct answer. And after every exam, there is a chart, this here, okay? So this chart has every section, okay? Every section that you're going to be tested on the exam, on the national topics, and on the Texas topics. So it'll tell you on each exam, this one is exam 2, that property ownership was covered on these questions. Land use and controls and regulation covered on these questions. If you're weak on contracts, then you review these questions. This is excellent. I have yet to find another book that does this. And why they didn't continue this, I don't know, but I love this book for them. It also has a Scantron. I think it's in the beginning of the chapter, so that you can print it and take the test. These tests here are 110 questions. The first 80 are national. The last 30 are state. Okay, so you see here, Texas topics. So it starts from 81 to 110. So the first 80 are national. Today you get 85 national and 40 state, right? So you're dealing with 125 questions compared to 110 questions just a few years ago. Okay, so you also want to practice a lot the glossary. Let me see here. Where's the glossary? The glossary is awesome. You have from A to Z. Oh, there's a Scantron. Okay. There's a Scantron that you can download and take time, set it aside, and give yourself the 4 hours that you're allowed and take the exam. Let's see here. The glossary, I think it's after chapter. So that's the review section. Well, why am I struggling? I have the glossary and okay, so the glossary is section 6, page 153. Okay, because this book has 287 pages, and several students have have downloaded it and then printed it and bound it. How come it didn't go to 253? Or what did I say? Table of contents, the glossary on page, 153. Gosh, I don't read correctly. It's very, very important. I cannot stress it enough to study your vocabulary. Okay, guys, it is really, really important. It'll help you tremendously with your national exam and also with state. But it's like learning another language. You go to another country and you have to learn language, right? When you study English, what do we have to study? Vocabulary, right? There's vocabulary. There's contests on spelling, right? Spelling bees and on definitions. So in order to learn English, we have to learn the basics, the vocabulary. So in real estate, we also have to learn the vocabulary. Okay. So very, very important. Any questions before we call it a night? You're very welcome, but like to review, not have scheduled, but like to review. Yes, keep reviewing, listen. You can listen to them in addition to watching the videos, whatever you're doing. If you're working around the house or you're driving, of course, you don't want to watch, but you can listen. I listen to a lot of pep talks and not so much podcasts, but I listen to a lot of inspirational and motivational stuff. All right. So on a Saturday, we'll either continue with more state questions or I will review state material, okay, from the prep book. All right, y'all. Until next time, catch you later. Have an awesome, awesome Christmas. Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. Bye.